Difference Makers: Stories of Those Who Dared by Kelsey Gonsowski. 1920s, Alice Paul. Alice Paul first started the National American Women's Suffrage Association, also known as NAWSA. She took part in the creation of this committee. Alice was a chair member of the committee. She then later took herself out of this organization to form the Congressional Union for Women Association. This new organization then evolved into the National Women's Party in 1917. Alice's organization was the key to the founding and then future of this organization. Paul was also an active member of the peace movement. Paul's idea was to let every man and woman have equal rights. She even went to Europe to start an equal rights group there as well. She fought for her sisters. When she was arrested, she refused to eat until the women that she was arrested with for the same offense got better food than the 17 murderers who were also being held in the prison. These women were arrested for picketing outside the White House and were getting sick from the food that they were being served. She died in New Jersey in 1977 after a battle about Equal Rights Amendment. She was known as a woman who created the Equal Rights Amendment. World War II, Fred Korematsu. Fred Korematsu was an American-born citizen with Japanese ancestry. After the bombing in Pearl Harbor, all Japanese Americans were being sent into incarceration camps. These incarceration camps were where 120,000 Japanese Americans were held against their will by military necessity. Korematsu decided he was going to keep living his American life. He was later arrested for resisting to go to a camp. He was put into a California prison. In 1944, he appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court. His argument was that this went against the Constitution. He was outvoted 6-3, and the court said that it was also just a military necessity. This meant that he had to keep the Japanese Americans away to make sure that they did not rebel. 40 years later, the case was reopened with new information and his conviction was overturned. Korematsu got the highest civilian honor, which was the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Korematsu's growing legacy continues to inspire activists of all backgrounds and demonstrates this importance of speaking to fight up for justice. Korematsu fought for the freedom that he believed he deserved. This bravery to stand up against the government will be part of history that no one will forget. The Modern Era, Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was brought into the presidency on January 20th, 1993. He was a big civil rights activist. Throughout his presidency, he and the Supreme Court rejected the notion that the country could ever be separate but equal. Democrats and Republicans alike passed laws against discrimination and created affirmative action programs to redress centuries of wrongs for minorities and women. He made the Employment Non-Discrimination Act and the Hate Crimes Prevention Act. This was a big moment for Clinton because it was when he attempted to try to save the future from having discrimination. He also supported the American with Disabilities Act, which prevented jobs in healthcare to reject someone with HIV or AIDS. Throughout his presidency, he changed many things for the better to make America an equal environment.